Hey Shrish, welcome to Magnifloss, the channel where we talk about anything and everything, whatever's on our minds at the present point in time. Happy New Year!
No one will miss you.
I love it how your video was so profound and thoughtful, and I'm just doing this. Anyways, thank you for plugging my diss track, and in return, I've talked to the pasta gods and they said maybe they're willing to negotiate on the severity of your sentencing. Chaos is an idea whose manifestation we've seen a little too vividly this week. In certain contexts, in fact in most contexts, chaos is given a very negative connotation, but not always. For example, look at this double pendulum. We know with a single pendulum it just swings back and forth, but as soon as you attach another one to the first mass, the trajectory becomes pretty wild. But how wild? Well, just whoa! What is this? In fact, I lied to you. These were actually Shut up, Johnny. These were actually 50 different pendulums that initially started off at the exact same position, but their initial velocities actually differed by just one part in 1 million. But isn't that crazy? Even with such minute initial differences, the eventual trajectories diverge enormously. Also, the sun has set, so I'm gonna move this camera over here. Chaos theory is a field that deals with systems like these and makes the notion of chaos precise. The beginnings of chaos theory actually date back to 1961 when meteorologist and mathematician Edward Lorenz was actually trying to simulate some weather patterns on his computer, and something extremely bizarre took place. Long story short, he made a simulation. A simulation consisted of him feeding some input data into the computer, and this was a really old computer, so you actually had to feed in physical sheets of paper containing numbers. And then you wait for a long time, it does its calculations and everything, and then out comes more numbers. He wanted to repeat a particular simulation one more time, so he ran the exact same inputs from the last simulation once again. And he went to go get some coffee. And when he came back, strangely enough, the results which he had noticed last time were completely different than the results which the machine had produced this time. And he was wondering why, and it turns out the culprit was actually a rounding error. You see, he thought that he submitted the same exact inputs as last time, but that actually wasn't the case. The numbers that he submitted the second time around were actually rounded to the nearest thousandth place, an error that would seem inconsequential. However, the results strongly disagreed. The equations resulted in something completely different. And thus, chaos theory was born. You know, they say that if you want to know what the weather is something like 6-7 days from now, checking weather.com or some other weather prediction website is going to be just as good as just making it up randomly. Because weather is just that chaotic. The butterfly effect is a series of events whereby a butterfly flaps its wings on one side of the globe, causing a tornado to formulate on the other side. A minute change in the beginning, resulting in a drastic change in the outcome. Such is chaos. And it's everywhere. Economics, biology, cryptography. But I also really love these toy examples like the double pendulum and the Malkus waterwheel. Humans are inherently pattern matching machines. We're always trying to figure out what causes what two things are related, how things fall into a hierarchical scheme. But nature doesn't always work that way. And sometimes the real beauty lies in disorder. But this is not that time. Can things please go back to normal? And just as I was saying that, my phone died. But would that have happened if I stepped a little bit to the left when I entered this room? Would the air current be slightly different so as to causing the electric charge of my phone to sort of dissipate a little bit slow? What am I doing? Shrish, I'll see you next week.